Hello, my name's Joshua, and I'm gonna read a story. Uh, the reason that I'm reading these stories is because I kind of want to just read some more, and I want to read some like freaky stuff, right? But I also want to fall asleep. And when I'm looking for this shit online, that I don't like the person's voice, or I don't like the story, or I'm looking for random short stories to listen to before bed, and then suddenly I sit there scrolling for ages trying to find something to fall asleep to, and then I can't. So I don't know. I'm making this just so that I can read more, and I don't know. I might play music, or I don't know. I'm doing whatever the hell I want to. So yes, I'm gonna read the stories. Um, yeah, Aisha, if you're listening, enjoy. If you're not, this is embarrassing. Um, all right. Let's see. Anything else? Oh yeah. I'm just gonna read the book, and then if something pops out to me that I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on there? And then I just start talking about it. Um, Tough titties. You're along for the ride, I suppose. Um, okay. Yeah. So do know this isn't gonna be like a word for word reading the book. It's going to be a word for commentary of a dumbass word for word. Because I don't know. I don't want to read the whole book like it's a job and be like all boring and whatnot. I want to read it because I want to fucking read it. So I'm going to read it how I want to read it. And if I want to swear while I do it, I'm going to fucking do that because I fucking can. Because who the shit cares? I'm reading stories for fun. Future job employers, hello. Um, yeah, no, that's gonna go down well. Yeah. All right, that was the intro. I'm gonna read the story. There's gonna be sometimes random breaks where it's just gonna like cut and it's gonna sound like my voice has changed. I probably just needed to go to the bathroom or something in between, and then I just had to hit pause on the recording because fuck you and fuck me because who the fuck cares? Fuckity, fuck. Hello. Um, I am going to be recording another one of these. This is going to be Les Fleurs. Shit, how do I do these intros again? I don't know. Anyway, we have a beer in my hand. This is following 3 glasses of shoe polish red wine. And I just needed a beer because my head is starting to hurt. And honestly, I just don't want to have more shoe polish. Alternatively, I drink enough shoe polish where I don't remember drinking the shoe polish. Anyway, so here we are. We're going to read Les Fleurs. I got headphones on with music. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe it'll be too annoying, and I'll take it off. It shouldn't affect anything for your listening pleasure, but just so that you know where my head is at, I am currently going doof while sitting here in my chair, drinking beer, reading horror stories. So I think I'm doing pretty fucking great, if you ask me. It's currently 3 in the morning, and enjoy. Alright, let's get into it. Okay. Wow, I gave up on those headphones and music real bloody fast. Yeah, that was just way too much for my brain to handle. Anyway. Okay. Les Fleurs. This story kind of takes like a journal entry approach. So, be ready for that. Okay, Les Fleurs. April 17th. Flowers sent out in early AM. May 1st. Today, and I thought it would never happen again, I have met someone about whom I think I can be hopeful. Her name is Daisy. She works in a florist shop. The florist shop, I might add, where I paid a visit to gather some sorrowful flowers for Claire, who, to the rest of the world, is still a missing person. At first, of course, Daisy was polite, reserved, and when I asked about some liliting blossoms for a loved one's memorial, I soon her. Cured her. However, this detached manner. Oh shit. I soon cured her, however, of this detached manner. In a deeply shy and friendly tone of voice, I asked about some of the other flowers in the shop, ones having no overtones of loss. She was quite glad to take me on a tour of the shop's iridescent inventory. I confessed to knowing next to nothing about commercial plants and things, and remarked on her enthusiasm of her work, hoping all the time that at least part of her animation was inspired by me. "Oh, I love working on flowers," she said. "I think they're real interesting." Then she asked if I was aware that there were plants having flowers which opened only at night, and that certain types of violets bloomed only in darkness underground. My inner flow of thoughts and sensations suddenly quickened. Though I had already sensed she was a girl of special imagination, this was the first hint I received of how just special it was. I judged my efforts to know her better would not be wasted as they have been given to others. Shit. I judged my efforts to know her better would not be wasted as they have been with others. "This is real interesting about those flowers," I said, smiling at a hothouse warm smile. There was a pause which I filled in my mouth. She then told me hers. "Now, what kind of flowers would you like?" she asked. I statelily requested an arrangement suitable for a grave of a departed grandmother. Before leaving the shop, I told Daisy I might need to stop by again to satisfy some future floral needs. She seemed to have no objection to this. With the vegetation nestled in my arms, I songfully walked out of the store. I then proceeded directly to Chapel Garden Cemetery. For a while I sincerely made an effort to find a headstone that might by coincidence display my lost one's name, and any dates that could just have to do. I thought she deserved this much at least. As events transpired, however, the recipient of my commemorative boutique had to be someone named Clarence. May 16th. Day. As I now intimately call her, visited my apartment for the first time and fell in love with its quaint refurbishments. Shit. "I adore well-preserved old places," she said. It seemed to me that she really did. "I thought she would," she remarked what decorative wonders a few plants would do to my ancient rooms. She was obviously sensitive to the absence of natural adornments in my bachelor's quarters. "Night-blooming cereuses?" I asked, trying not to mean too much by this, and give myself away. A mild grin appeared on her face, but it was not an issue I thought I could press at that time. Even now, I press it with these scrapbook pages with great delicacy. Day wandered about the apartment for a while. I watched her as some exotic animal, a sleek ocelot perhaps. Then suddenly I realized I had regrettably overlooked something. She looked it over. The object was positioned on the low table before a high window, and between its voluminous curtains it seemed so vulgarly prominent to me, then especially since I hadn't intended to let her see anything of the sort so early in our relationship. "What is this?" she asked, her voice expressing a kind of outraged curiosity bordering on plain outrage. "It's just a sculpture," I told her. "I do things like that. It's not very kind." It's not very good. Kinda dumb. She examined the piece more closely. Watch that, I warned. She let out a little ow. It is supposed to be some type of cactus? She inquired. For a moment she seemed to take great genuine interest in that obscure object, their art. It has tiny teeth, she observed, on these big tongue things. They do look like tongues. I'd never thought of that. Rather ingenious comparison, considering I hoped her imagination had found fertile ground in which to grow. But instead she revealed a moribund disgust. You might have better luck passing it off as an animal than a plant, or a sculpture of a plant, or whatever. It's got a velvety kind of fur, and it looks like it might crawl away. I felt like crawling away myself at this point. I asked her, as a quasi-botanist, if there were not plants resembling birds and other animal life. There was my feeble attempt to exculpate my creation from any charges of unnaturalness. It's strange how you're sometimes forced to assume an unsympathetic view of yourself through borrowed eyes. Finally, I mixed some drinks and we went into the other room. I put on some music. Soon afterwards, though, the bland harmony of the music was undermined by an unfortunate dissonance. That detective Bringbryce, I think, arrived for an encore of his interrogation, re the Clay affair. Unfortunately, I was able to keep him and his questions out in the hallway the entire time. We reviewed the previous dialogue we had had. I'd iterated to him that Claire was just someone I worked with and with whom I was professionally friendly. It appears that some of my co-workers, unidentified, suspected that Claire and I were romantically involved. Office gossip, I countered, knowing she was one girl who knew how to keep certain secrets, even if she could not be trusted with others. Sorry, I said, I had no idea where she could have disappeared to. I did manage to subversively hint, however, that I would not be surprised if a sudden flight of neurotic despair she had impulsively relocated her to some land of her heart's desire. I myself had despaired to find that within Claire's dark and promisingly moody borders lay a disappointing dreamland of white picket fences and flower-printed curtains. No, I didn't tell that to the detective. Besides, I further contended, if it is well known in the office that Claire had begun dating someone approximately 7 to 10 days, my personal estimation on this term of her disloyalty, before her disappearance. So why bother me? This, I found out, was the reason. He had also been informed, he told me, my belonging to a certain offbeat organization. I replied there was nothing offbeat in serious philosophical study. Furthermore, I was an artist, as he well knew, and as anybody knows, artistic personalities have a perfectly natural tendency towards such things. I thought he would understand if I put it that way. He did. The man appeared satisfied with my every statement. Indeed, he seemed overly eager to dismiss me as a person of interest in this case, no doubt trying to create a false sense of security on my part and lead me to make an unwitting admission to the foulest kind of play. Was that about the girl where you worked who disappeared? Daisy asked me afterwards. I noised. I was brooding and silent for a while, hoping she'd attribute this to my inward lament for the strange girl at the office and not to the lamentably imperfect evening we'd had. Maybe I'd better go, she said, and then did. There was not much of our date left to salvage anyway. After she abandoned me, I got very drunk on liquor, tasting of flowers from open fields. So it seemed. I also took this opportunity to reread a story about some men who visited the white waste regions of the polar wonderland. I don't expect to dream tonight, having already sated myself with this Arctic fantasy. Brotherhood of Paradise, offbeat indeed. September 21st. Where was that last date? Okay, so we go from May 16th to September 21st. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 5 months, okay. They say Day. Day came up to the cool, clean office of G.R. He means Daisy, right? Does this thing have typos in it? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna blame, why I can't read these words. It's not because I'm sozzled. I'm a little bit tipsy. Okay. Oh, wait. September 21st. Daisy came up to the cool, clean offices of G.R. Lacey, the advertising firm for which I worked, to meet me for lunch. I showed her my cubicle of commercial artistry and drew her attention to my latest project. "Oh, that's lovely," she said, when I pointed out the drawing of a nymph with flowers in her freshly shampooed hair. "That's really nice." That nice remark almost spoiled my day. I asked her to look closely at the flowers mingling in the locks of the mythical being. It was barely noticeable that one of the flower stems was growing out of, or perhaps into, the creature's head. Daisy didn't seem to appreciate the craftiness of my craft very much, and I thought we were making such progress along offbeat paths. Damn, that Briceberg. Perhaps I should wait until we return from my trip before showing her any of my paintings I've hidden at my home. I want her to be prepared. Everything is all prepared for our vacation at least. Daisy finally found someone to take care of her cat. October 10th. Goodbye, diary. See you when I get back. September 1st. After a period of ruminative silence on the subject, I will now set down a brief chapter from Daisy's and my tropical soiree. I'm not sure whether the events to be delineated represent an impasse or a turning point in the course of our relationship. Perhaps there is some point that I have completely failed to get. As yet I am still in the dark. I've been here before with Claire, and had hoped that my escapist interlude with Daisy would be a definitive or close to it, and not filled with dubiousness. Nevertheless, I still feel that the episode to follow deserves documentation. A Hawaiian paradise at midnight. Actually, we had just gazed upon the beachside luxuriance of our hotel veranda. Daisy was tipsy from consuming several drinks and wore flowers on her foamy head. I was in a condition similar to hers. A few moments of heady silence passed, punctuated by an occasional sigh from Daisy. We heard the flapping of invisible wings whipping the warm air in darkness. We listened closely to the sounds of black orchids growing, even if there were none. Daisy. We were ripe for a whim. I had one, not knowing yet if I could pull it off. "Can you smell the mysterious cereus?" I said, placing a hand on her far shoulder and dramatically passing the other in a horizontal arc before the jungle beyond. "Can you?" I hypothetically repeated. "I can," said a game Daisy. "But can we find them, Daisy? And watch them open in the moonlight?" We can, she chanted giddily. We could. Suddenly the smooth skinned leaves of the night garden were brushing against our smooth skinned selves. Daisy paused to touch a flower that was orange or red but smelled of a deep violet. I encouraged her to press on across the flower-bedded earth. We plunged deeper into the garden, faster, faster and faster. The sounds and the smells rushed by us. It was easier than I thought. At some point, with almost no effort at all, I successfully managed our full departure from known geography. "Daisy, Daisy," I shouted. "We're here. I've never shown this to anyone, and what torture it's been keeping it from you." "No, don't speak. Look, look." Oh, the thrill of bringing a romantic companion to this dark paradise. How I yearned to show her this resplendent world in full bloom and have her behold it with ensorcelled delight. She was somewhere near me in the darkness. I waited, seeing her 1,000 ways in my mind before actually gazing on the real Daisy. I looked. "What's wrong with the stars, the sky?" was all she said. She was trembling. At breakfast the next morning, I subtly probed her for impressions and judgments of the night before, but she was badly hungover and had only a chaotic recall of what she had experienced. Well, at least she didn't go into hysterics as my old flame Claire did. Since our return, I've been working on a painting entitled Sanctum Obscurum. Though I have done this kind of work many times before, I'm including in this one elements that I hope will stir Daisy's memory and precipitate a conscious recollection of not only a certain night in the islands, but of all the subtle and not so subtle messages I have tried to communicate to her. I only pray she'll understand. November 14th. Stars of disaster. Earthly, not unearthly. Austere are what Daisy's heart craves. She is too much of a lover of natural flora to be anything else. I know this now. I showed her the painting and even imagined she was excited about seeing it, but I think she was just waiting to see some kind of fool I would make of myself. She sat on the sofa, scraping her lower lip with a nervous forefinger. Opposite her, I set a velvet cloth drop. She looked up as if there had been a startling noise. I was not wholly satisfied with the painting myself, but this exhibition was designed to serve an extra aesthetic purpose. I searched the eyes for the reflection of understanding, a ripple of empathetic insight. "Well?" I asked, the necessity of the word trolling doom. Her gaze told me all I needed to know. The fatal clarity of the message was reminiscent of another girl I once knew. She gave me a second chance, looking at the picture with a theatrical scrutiny. The picture itself, an interior done up very much like my own apartment, a refuge crowding about the window of a disappropriated breath. What the fuck? That word has way too many letters. Jesus. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, no. A word that has 18 letters in it? Shit's sake. Alright. A refuge crowding about a window of a disproportionate breadth, so as to direct the viewer's sight telescopically outwards, beyond the window into a vista wholly alien to terrestrial nature, and perhaps to all that we deem human. Outside is a gorgeous kingdom of glittering colors, velvety jungle shapes, in a realm of contorted rainbows and twisted auras. Hyper-radiant hues are calmed by the glass, so that their strange intensity does not threaten the chromatic integrity of the world within. Some stars, colored with the most spectral part of the spectrum, blossom in the high darkness. The outer world glistens in stellar light and is mirrored by gleams from within each labyrinth form. And upon the window's surface is a watery reflection of a lone figure gazing out in this otherworldly paradise. "Of course, it's very good," she observed. "Very realistic." "Not at all, Daisy Day." "Oh, fucking hell, Daisy Day. Jesus. Oops, anyway, what the fuck? Who cares? "Not realistic in either manner or matter." Some uncomfortable moments later, Daisy told me she had a prior engagement and was running late. It seemed she had made girl plans with a girlfriend of hers to do some girly things girls do when they get together, and with others of their kind. I said I understood, and I did. There is no doubt in my mind of the gender of Day's companion this night, and perhaps other nights I did not know about, but it was for a different reason that I was distressed to see her go. Something that I could read in her every move and expression, something I had never seen before, gave away her suspicions about me and my private life. Of course, she already knew about the meetings I had attended and all such things. I've even paraphrased and abridged for her the discussion which goes on at these gatherings, always obscuring their real meaning in progressively more transparent guises, hoping one day to show her the naked truth. Like Claire, however, Daisy was has prematurely learned too much of the truth about me and the others, and I fear she may decide to relay her inside information to the wrong people, the dogged detective Bryce Berg, for instance. November 16th. Tonight we held an emergency meeting, our assembly of crisis. The others feel there's a problem, and of course I know they're right. Ever since I met my latest love, I could sense their growing uneasiness, which was their prerogative. Now, however, all has changed. My romantic misjudgment has seen to that. They expressed absolute horror that an outsider should know so much. I feel it myself. Daisy is a stranger now, and I wonder what her loquacious self might disclose about her former friend, not to mention her present ones. A marvelous arcana is threatened with exposure, the inconspicuousness we need for our lives could be lost, and with it would go the keys to our strange kingdom. We have confronted these situations before. I'm not the only one to have jeopardized our secrecy. We of course have no secrets from each other. They know everything about me and I about them. They knew every step of the way the progress my relationship with Daisy has taken. Some of them even predicted the outcome, and though I thought I was right in taking the chance that they were wrong, I must now defer to their prophecy, those lonely souls, mes frères. Jesus. Do you want us to see it through? They asked in so many words. I consented. Finally, in a score of ambiguous, half-hesitant ways, then they sent me back to my unflowered sanctum. I'll never again get involved with another situation like this, I promised myself. Even though I've made this resolution before, I stared at the razory denties of my furry sculpture for a perilously long time. What that poor girl saw as tongue-like floral appendages were silent. The preservation of such silence, of course, is their whole purpose. I remember that Daisy once jokingly said to me that I modelled my art. November 17th. To Eden with me you will not leave, to live in a cottage of crazy crooked eaves. In your own happy home you take care. These nights, when you let your little cat in, please turn on the lights. Something scurries behind and finds a cozy place to stay. Something sent you from paradise with serpents to spare. Tongues flowering, they leap out, laughing, lapping, disappear. Disappear? Okay. I do this to pass the hours, only to pass the hours. November 17th, 12 a.m. Flowers. Alright. What the fuck? So this guy, he asked the lady out and ate her. Then he goes and buys flowers for this girl that he has destroyed in some way. And then he meets Daisy. Okay, and then he tries to date Daisy, and he tries to get her to join his cult. He's an alien. He's like a alien monster kind of thing going on, and he's collective. It's a group of hive-minded aliens. And when he takes her out in Hawaii, he shows her the stars. He shows her his universe. Okay, honestly, I don't know if I'm smart enough for that story. Because Jesus, whatever creepiness, meaning, kind of nonsense that got on there. Yeah, I missed it. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Yes. Okay, anyway, that was Les Fleurs. Oh, okay, enjoy. Anyway, cheers.